And that was my father's mission from day one. And when you come out to a place like Hollywood, it's all kinds of glitter and excitement and this and that, but the task was to stay together and not get too hooked up into the hype. And that's been our mission and our goal as a family since day one, and we're going to continue to do that.
No, I just wanted a small family, but I was the type of guy that when my wife started having kids, most of the guys was doing away with the kids and stuff like that. I stuck with every one of mine. I worked in the mill. I was a crane operator. You see the operator of big cranes.
Imagine growing up in the world's most famous family with fortune and fame at your fingertips, only to realize that behind the closed doors, it was nothing but a nightmare. Scandals, betrayal, jealousy, and a father's iron fist that broke more than just spirits. The Jackson 5 was not just about music. It was about power, control, and secrets so dark that some of them are only coming to light now. And guess what? Jermaine Jackson has just revealed something we always feared, but never wanted to believe. So buckle up, because this is about to get messy. When the Jackson 5 burst onto the scene in 1969, they weren't just another boy band, they were a revolution. With hits like ABC, I Want You Back, and I'll Be There, they became Motown's golden boys overnight. But what the world didn't see was the cost of their success. The Jackson brothers weren't just talented kids, they were money-making machines, controlled by their father, Joe Jackson, who saw them as nothing more than a brand. They rehearsed for hours, never had a normal childhood, and when they outgrew Motown and tried to take control of their careers, things turned ugly. In 1975, the group left Motown for CBS's Epic Records, except for Jermaine. And this is where the betrayal began. Jermaine, who was married to Hazel Gordy, daughter of Motown's founder, chose to stay with Motown rather than follow his brothers. But was this about loyalty? Or was it because Motown had more control over him than we realized? And then the jealousy kicked in. For years, fans thought the Jackson family was tight-knit, but behind the scenes, Jermaine was secretly jealous of Michael. As Michael skyrocketed to fame with Off the Wall and then shattered records with Thriller, Jermaine struggled in his solo career. And then, in 1991, he did something shocking. He released a diss track aimed at his own brother. The song, Word to the Bad, was a brutal attack on Michael, accusing him of being arrogant, fake, and obsessed with plastic surgery. Jermaine later claimed it was misunderstood and that he only wanted to help Michael stay grounded. But people close to the family said otherwise. According to Stacey Brown, a longtime family friend, Jermaine constantly ranted about how he should have been the one to be rich and famous, not Michael. And if you thought that was bad, wait till you hear about the ultimate betrayal. If sibling rivalry wasn't enough, Jermaine took things to the next level when he married his younger brother Randy's longtime girlfriend, Alejandra Waziaza. Randy and Alejandra had been together for years and even had 2 children together. But while Randy was away on tour, Jermaine swooped in, stole his girl, and secretly married her in 1995. The betrayal sent shockwaves through the family, with Randy refusing to ever forgive Jermaine. Oh, and to make things even weirder, Jermaine and Alejandra had 3 kids together, making their children half siblings and cousins at the same time. Yeah, let that sink in. But if you thought the sibling drama was bad, wait till you hear what their father put them through. Joe Jackson wasn't just a strict father, he was a tyrant, and he didn't just control the Jackson 5's music, he controlled their entire lives. According to Jermaine's memoir.
And so I'm in support of them and to show the world who Michael Jackson really was. And at the same time, but a child who didn't get enough childhood, and I knew how it felt towards him, calling him Wacko Jacko and calling him a freak and all this kind of stuff. He's my brother. And we come from the same womb.
Joe forced the kids to rehearse for hours without breaks, never allowed them to call him Dad. It was always Joseph. Physically punished them with belts, cords, and even tree branches, stripped Michael naked, and oiled him down before beatings to make it hurt more. Publicly humiliated Michael, calling him Big Nose and saying he was ugly, fueling Michael's obsession with plastic surgery. Even as adults, the Jackson kids feared him. LaToya Jackson once said, "We are grown men with kids of our own, and we are still afraid of our father." And Michael? He was so traumatized that he would faint whenever Joe entered the room. But the abuse didn't stop with the physical. Joe controlled their finances, their love lives, and even their friendships. The Jackson kids weren't just famous, they were prisoners in their own family. Michael never fully escaped the trauma of his childhood. In a 1993 interview with Oprah, he broke down in tears while talking about his father. He admitted that Joe's punishments were so severe that he would vomit from fear whenever he saw him.
Your father is one of those people who also has to take responsibility.
But I do love him.
Yes, I
And
understand.
I am forgiving.
Yes.
You know, I don't go
But
around
can
with
you
a
really
chip.
forgive? I say this on my show all the time. Can you really forgive if you haven't gotten angry, if you haven't dealt with how you really feel? I don't know if you can go from having been abused to forgiveness.
I do forgive. There's so much garbage and so much trash that's written about me that is so untrue. They're complete lies.
And then there were the whispers about what really happened during the Jackson 5's tours. Multiple sources have revealed that while the older brothers partied with women in hotel rooms, young Michael was often in the same room, pretending to be asleep while hearing everything. One woman even recalled Michael telling his brothers, "Nice, now will you please go to sleep?" Michael carried this trauma with him for the rest of his life. To this day, the Jackson family is still divided. Jermaine continues to speak about Michael's legacy, but many fans still see him as bitter and envious. LaToya has distanced herself from the family, and the younger Jacksons have tried to carve out their own paths, but the damage has been done. Joe Jackson passed away in 2018, and even in his final days, the family remained conflicted about how to feel about him. Was he the mastermind who created the Jackson 5, or was he the monster who ruined his own children? And as for Jermaine, has he finally made peace with his past, or is he still haunted by the shadow of Michael's success? One thing's for sure, the truth about the Jackson 5 is darker than anyone ever imagined. Was Jermaine justified in his actions? Was Joe Jackson just a strict father, or was he truly abusive? And most importantly, could the Jacksons have been just as successful without all the pain and suffering? Let's discuss in the comments below.